Right now, as you watch this, billions of cells inside your body are quietly eating parts of themselves. It sounds alarming, but this is one of the very processes that keeps you younger, healthier, and aging more slowly.
Most people believe that to switch it on, you must fast for 3 days, 5 days, or skip breakfast entirely.
Real science isn't nearly that simple, and today, I'll show you a very different way to look at it. 5 small, evidence-based changes to your meals that help your body clean itself better, with no fasting at all. That self-eating process has a scientific name, autophagy, from the Greek words meaning, literally, to eat oneself. In 2016, Japanese scientist Yoshinori Ohsumi won the Nobel Prize in Medicine for revealing how this mechanism works. This isn't fringe science or an internet trend. It is one of the foundations of modern cell biology. Even while you rest, your cells keep working, removing damaged proteins and clearing the debris that builds up inside. They take apart worn-out components and recycle them into fresh materials to rebuild stronger, healthier structures. And here's what matters most. This cleanup almost never shuts off completely, even right after you have eaten. Picture a tiny recycling plant inside every one of your cells, running quietly around the clock. When it spots a faulty protein or a broken organelle, the cell immediately recognizes it and tags it. A thin membrane slowly curls around that pile of waste, sealing it inside a closed little pouch. This pouch travels to the lysosome, a compartment filled with the cell's powerful digestive enzymes. There, the waste is broken down into basic building blocks: amino acids, fatty acids, and simple sugars.
Those raw materials are handed back to the cell to be reused or flagged for complete removal.
Now here is something very few health videos ever explain to you clearly. Autophagy doesn't work like an on-off switch. It is more like a dial you can turn up or down. So what decides where that dial sits? The answer lies in 2 sensors inside your cells. The first sensor is called mTOR. It picks up the signal when your body is well-fed and nutrient-rich.
The second is AMPK. It switches on when energy inside the cell is running low. Remember these 2 names. When you eat a meal heavy in refined carbs and protein, 3 things flood into your blood at once.
Blood sugar rises, insulin is released, and amino acids pour into your cells. This trio of signals instantly wakes up mTOR, putting your body into what we call the fed state.
TOR gives the order. We have plenty. Focus on building and growth, and put cleanup on hold. Now the autophagy dial turns down. Perfectly normal, unless it stays switched on almost all day long.
Now let's look at the other side of the story, when your body is no longer in that fed state. In the gaps between meals, when you move, or while you sleep overnight, cellular energy drops.
This is when AMPK wakes up. Think of it as the night shift manager just stepping into the plant.
It signals, the floor is clear now, and this is the ideal time to clean up and make repairs. Dial turns up. So the secret isn't a magic food, it is letting mTOR and AMPK take turns. And here is the part I want you to hear carefully, because so much online content has exaggerated it. The strongest scientific evidence for boosting autophagy today comes from fasting and from exercise. Most data on specific foods still sits at the level of studies in cells or in animals. Let me be blunt. A spoonful of spice cannot switch on autophagy the way a real fast does. So what does food do? It helps you stop suppressing the process so constantly, every single day. And it builds a healthy metabolic foundation, giving your body's natural mechanism the room to work. To see the problem clearly, let's walk through a very ordinary day of eating for many people. You wake up to a glass of sweet fruit juice and a couple of slices of white bread.
Mid-morning at work, a cereal bar marketed as healthy, but in truth, loaded with sugar.
Lunch, mostly white rice or noodles, washed down with a can of soda.
A tired afternoon, more cookies, a bubble tea. Late at night, a light snack right before bed.
Each time, insulin spikes again and mTOR fires again. Your body barely gets a single quiet moment.
The first lever may surprise you because it has nothing to do with which foods you eat. It comes down to one simple question: when do you stop eating, and when do you start again?
Most of us fuss over every item on the plate, yet completely overlook the gaps between meals. The stretch between tonight's dinner and tomorrow's breakfast is the most valuable window of all. Because it is the longest stretch with no insulin spikes, letting your body quietly recover.
And there's one more layer that makes timing matter more than you would think: your circadian rhythm. Your body doesn't respond the same way to the same meal at different times of the day. Insulin sensitivity is usually highest in the morning, then declines as the evening sets in.
A 2019 study in the journal Cell showed insulin is a key signal syncing your body clock with meal timing. The same meal eaten at 6 in the evening tends to cause a gentler glucose response than at 9.
So just moving dinner 30 minutes earlier widens your repair window and works with your nature.
The second lever is reducing the insulin spikes that you don't actually need throughout the day. Let me be clear, this is not a call to cut out carbs or to fear carbohydrates. It is about replacing the choices that spike your blood sugar yet give you very little in return. Soda, candy, and most ultra-processed foods fall squarely into this group.
Favor whole foods rich in fiber, protein, and healthy fat. Your blood sugar will rise and fall far more gently. Breakfast is where many people get fooled, right at the choice that seems healthiest of all.
Pick up a cup of low-fat flavored yogurt and read the nutrition label on the back carefully.
A small cup can hold around 20 grams of added sugar, about the same as a candy bar. And because the fat has been stripped out, that sugar hits your bloodstream even faster.
A better choice is plain, full-fat yogurt eaten together with a couple of eggs. Protein and fat digest slowly, keeping you full without spiking your blood sugar the moment you wake. Now for the part you can take to the grocery store. 5 food groups for cellular repair. But I won't rank them at random. I will rank them by the strength of the scientific evidence.
From the most firmly proven group, down to the ones that are only promising so far. Because a trustworthy channel must say plainly which is solid science and which still needs more research. At the top of the list, with the strongest evidence, is extra virgin olive oil.
It is the heart of the Mediterranean diet, a pattern studied for more than 60 years.
Large studies keep linking it to a longer life and a healthier heart.
Extra virgin olive oil contains a compound called oleocanthal, part of the polyphenol family.
Research shows oleocanthal has anti-inflammatory activity through a mechanism similar to low-dose ibuprofen. Key tip: use it as a finishing oil, drizzled over vegetables and cooked dishes, to keep the polyphenols intact.
Second place goes to the cruciferous vegetables, a group that many people tend to skip.
That is broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, and Brussels sprouts. Familiar, yet truly valuable. When you chew them well or steam them lightly, they release a compound called sulforaphane. Sulforaphane activates the NRF2 pathway, the cell's own antioxidant and detoxification system. Steam lightly or roast gently to keep the benefit. Overboiling in lots of water destroys nearly all of it.
Third place is green tea, a drink tied to many of the world's longest-living regions.
In parts of Japan, the habit of drinking green tea regularly shows up again and again.
Its standout compound is EGCG, widely studied for its effects on metabolism and mitochondrial health. I want to be honest, most of this mechanism is shown in the lab, while in humans it is an epidemiological link. Still, swapping one sugary drink a day for a cup of green tea is a very reasonable move. Fourth place is turmeric and black pepper, and this is the group I need to be most candid about. Curcumin in turmeric has been heavily studied for its anti-inflammatory and antioxidant potential. But there are two important truths. First, curcumin is absorbed very poorly through the gut. Second, its real clinical benefit in humans remains uncertain to this day.
Piperine in black pepper can boost curcumin absorption a lot, so always pair it with pepper and a little fat. My advice: treat turmeric as a good spice for your meals, not as a pill. And the foundation beneath all four groups, in fifth place, is the simplest thing of all. Is protein, healthy fat, and fiber coming from whole foods. Specifically eggs, fish, beans, nuts, and leafy greens at every meal. They carry no superfood halo, but they do one critically important job.
They keep blood sugar steady all day, breaking the hunger then craving loop that drives constant snacking. That quiet stability is the real foundation that supports your whole day, not any single superfood. By now you know what to add to your meals. But two things quietly erase that effort, and few people notice.
First are the things you drink. A smoothie, a glass of juice, or sweetened coffee is enough to wake insulin again.
Even one small late-night snack can quietly close the recovery window you just worked to open. Second, and more surprising, is sleep itself. Too little sleep makes your body less sensitive to insulin the next day. In other words, one bad night's sleep can undo nearly all of your careful eating that day.
So treat sleep and drinks as part of the plan, on equal footing with the food on your plate. Before you start, there's an important note I really don't want you to skip.
This approach, especially extending the overnight fasting window, is not right for everyone. If you take blood sugar lowering medication or inject insulin, this could cause dangerously low blood sugar.
If you are pregnant, breastfeeding, or have a history of disordered eating, you also need real caution. Anyone underweight or an older adult in fragile health should talk to a doctor before trying this.
This content is for reference and education only. It does not replace a doctor's diagnosis and treatment. When you put it all together, there is one principle bigger than any single tip that I want to leave you with.
No single meal, good or bad, is powerful enough to decide your health.
What truly shapes your body is the pattern you repeat, week after week, month after month. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to tilt the balance toward the helpful side more often than not. And that ordinary consistency, not extreme effort, is what creates lasting change over time. If this video helped you, don't just nod and scroll on. Take action today. Pick exactly one change to start this week. For example, swap your morning juice for a cup of green tea.
Then write the change you chose in the comments to commit it to yourself.
Follow VitaNHealth for a daily dose of evidence-based health knowledge.
And share this with someone you think needs it. Health begins with small choices, and you can do this.